What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actors hits his breaking point live on television? When a calm interview turns into a fiery exchange that leaves everyone stunned. Tonight, we're talking about the moment Christopher Lloyd completely lost it on Jimmy Kimmel. And believe me, you'll want to hear every bit of what happened. Don't forget to subscribe and tell me whose side you're on when it's over, because this one really splits opinions. Picture it. Christopher Lloyd walks on stage to loud applause. The crowd's on their feet. He's a legend, someone who's given audiences countless unforgettable performances. Jimmy greets him with a big smile, shakes his hand, and everything seems normal. They sit, the applause fades, and Jimmy starts casually. "Christopher, great to have you here. I was watching some of your old interviews and I noticed something. You've been in this business for decades, but you don't talk much about your process. Why is that?" Lloyd leans back, smiling slightly. "Well, Jimmy, I think the work should speak for itself. I've never felt the need to explain every choice I make. The performance is on the screen." Jimmy nods, but his expression shifts. "Sure, but don't you think audiences want to know more? We live in a time when people share everything. Fans want that connection." "Connection comes from the work," Lloyd replies, polite but firm. "Not from me breaking it down." Jimmy raises a brow. "So you're saying you're above that? Above connecting with your audience beyond the screen?" Lloyd's face tightens. "That's not what I said." "But that's how it sounds," Jimmy presses. "You don't talk about your process, you stay private. Some might say that's a bit, I don't know, elitist." The room goes quiet. Lloyd's tone hardens. "Elitist? I've spent 50 years dedicated to my craft. I show up, I work, I give everything I have. That's not elitist, Jimmy. That's professionalism." "Hey, I'm just saying what people think," Jimmy shrugs. "Some actors are more open. They do podcasts, use social media. The older generation tends to, stay in their tower." Lloyd's eyes flash. "My tower? I've worked in every corner of this industry, from small plays to big movies. Don't talk to me about towers." All right, Jimmy says with a smirk. "But you can see how it looks. You're this mysterious figure. People barely know Christopher Lloyd the person." "Maybe," Lloyd says evenly, "because Christopher Lloyd the person isn't your entertainment. I give you performances. That's enough." Jimmy laughs, but it sounds off. "That's old school, man. You sound like you're from another time." "I sound like someone who respects the craft," Lloyd snaps. "What do you respect, Jimmy? Cheap jokes and easy laughs?" The audience gasps. Jimmy's grin freezes. "Whoa, Christopher, I'm just talking. Are you?" Lloyd leans forward. "Because it feels like you've been trying to bait me since I sat down." "You're being sensitive," Jimmy says. Lloyd's hands grip the chair. "Sensitive? You called me elitist, said I was out of touch, and now I'm sensitive for defending myself?" Jimmy shifts. "I just want an honest discussion about how the industry's changed." "No," Lloyd cuts in, voice sharp. "You want to make me look bad? That's your thing. Act friendly, then twist the knife." "You're misunderstanding," Jimmy says weakly. "I understand perfectly," Lloyd fires back. "You're performing. You play the concerned host, but it's all an act." Jimmy chuckles nervously. "Let's take a breath." "Why?" Lloyd asks. "Because I'm not smiling through your insults." "You wanted honesty. This is it." The crowd is frozen. Jimmy glances down, then back up. "I didn't mean to offend you." "Yes, you did," Lloyd says flatly. "Every word was chosen. And that's fine, but don't pretend otherwise." "I respect your work, Christopher." "Do you?" Lloyd asks quietly. "Or do you respect the ratings my name brings? There's a difference." Jimmy's tone rises. "You're reading too much into this. We have celebrities here every night. Great talks." "Great talks?" Lloyd laughs dryly. "It's the same thing every time. Bring them out, ask about a funny story, show a clip, move on. It's a conveyor belt, not a conversation." "That's how talk shows work," Jimmy says, irritated now. "We follow a structure." "Sure," Lloyd says, "but structure isn't an excuse for disrespect." "When did cheap shots become the standard?" Jimmy frowns. "I don't take shots." "You just did," Lloyd replies. "Twice in 5 minutes. Or did I imagine that?" "I was talking about generational differences," Jimmy argues. "If you can't handle that, maybe interviews aren't for you." The audience gasps again. Lloyd goes still. So if I don't like being insulted, I should stay home? That's your advice? That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said. Maybe you're right. Maybe we shouldn't come on shows like this. Jimmy laughs nervously. You're being dramatic. It's live TV. Things get heated. Not serious. Lloyd's voice rises. My career, my life's work, not serious to you? You insult me on national TV and call it a question? I was asking, Jimmy says quickly. No, you were provoking, Lloyd snaps. You wanted a reaction. Well, here it is. Let's move on, Jimmy says, frustrated. No, Lloyd says firmly. We're not moving on. You started this. Now you'll listen. The audience leans in. Jimmy looks toward the crew, but Lloyd doesn't flinch. Go ahead, Jimmy says. Say what you want, Lloyd does. The problem with shows like this isn't the setup. It's the cynicism. You think nothing matters, that you can say whatever as long as you smile. And if someone objects, they're too sensitive. I make jokes for a living, Jimmy interrupts. Your job is to interview people, Lloyd fires back. Not mock them. When did hosts decide their job was to tear people down? Carson never did that. Cavett never did that. They had respect. Jimmy bristles. Times have changed. Comedy's changed. I'm not talking about nostalgia, Lloyd says. I'm talking about decency. Treating people like people. You're acting like I attacked you, Jimmy says. I ask questions. Loaded ones, Lloyd replies. That's not neutral. That's manipulation. You came here with an agenda, Jimmy shoots back. Lloyd laughs bitterly. My agenda? I came to talk about my new project. You turned it into this. You're twisting my words. No, I'm holding you accountable, Lloyd says. You're used to guests who laugh along. I'm not one of them. Jimmy's jaw tightens. Maybe you are too old. Maybe that's the issue. The audience gasps again. Lloyd's eyes narrow. There it is, he says. The real you. Jimmy backpedals. That came out wrong. No, it didn't, Lloyd says coldly. You meant it. You think not playing this game makes me outdated. That's not progress, Jimmy. That's decay. Jimmy sighs. If you hate this industry so much, why stay? Because I love the work, Lloyd says. I love acting, but I hate what we've let it become. I hate that honesty is seen as anger. Jimmy looks down. So what do you want? An apology? I don't want anything from you, Lloyd says, tired now. What I want is for people to see that this isn't normal. We've turned cruelty into entertainment. I've never seen guests as content, Jimmy says weakly. Haven't you? Lloyd challenges. Then why does every interview feel the same? Jimmy's quiet. Then he says, maybe you're right. Maybe I rely too much on the formula, but it's what works. It keeps the show alive, and that makes it right? Lloyd asks. Does success excuse everything? That's the business, Jimmy admits. If I don't get ratings, I'm done. You've trained people to expect the wrong things, Lloyd says softly. They can't want authenticity if you never show it. You're living in a fantasy, Jimmy mutters. People want quick, funny, shareable moments. Then maybe the system's broken, Lloyd says. Maybe we've forgotten what matters. And what's that? Jimmy asks. Substance, Lloyd says simply. Something real. In this world? Jimmy says. That's rare. Then maybe someone needs to stop playing the game, Lloyd says quietly. Maybe that starts with me. The studio is silent. Jimmy looks conflicted. So what now? You walk off? Lloyd shakes his head. No, I'll finish what I came to do. Talk about my work. That's what a professional does. Jimmy nods slowly. All right, let's do that. But we do it right, Lloyd says. No angles. No jokes at my expense. Deal, Jimmy says after a pause, and for a few minutes they actually talk. No tension, no mockery, just conversation. When it ends, the applause feels different. Quieter. Honest. They shake hands without smiling, both aware something real just happened. As Lloyd walks off, he looks drained but proud. He said what he needed to say. He didn't cave. And whether you think he went too far or not, one thing's clear. It was real. In a world obsessed with performance, that raw honesty was shocking. That's what happens when a veteran actor expecting respect gets cynicism instead. That's what happens when someone finally says, enough. So tell me, do you think Christopher Lloyd was right to stand his ground? Or did he go too far? Let me know in the comments.